Well, this is going to be an interesting video. I was talking in the last video about the mid-range sets. I mentioned these set numbers usually connote, at least back in the day, the size of the set. And I decided to, today, build all the 6800 series sets. So 6800 through 6809. So there's 9 of them. And you can't go in chronological order. So 6800, 6801 is an older set, but 6804, anyway, they didn't go in chronological order. They just kind of hit and miss. So let's kind of go through them one at a time. We'll start with this guy. This was the first in the 6800 series sets. I always liked the set. Jeff brought 3 of these to one of our displays, one of our earlier displays, and I said, I don't even think I owned it. Maybe I did, I can't remember, but I loved them then. So I rebuilt it. I have one in the layout now. I rebuilt one for the show because I'm not going to go out to the garage and get all the ones I have in storage. So 6801 White Minifig, cool set. Nice what they did with the radar dish here. They really built it into the actual, so it's like a hovercraft. It's called the Rocket Sled. 6801 Rocket Sled. It came with 2 things. It came with a walkie-talkie or radio and a gun / laser / whatever else you want to talk about that. Really cool. It came with 21 parts, which is the 6800 series. Minimal number of parts. Yet, cool set. So then we have the 6802. Let me just get over there. So this is 1981. This is jumping all the way to 1986. So this is jumping in after they came up with yellow minifigs, Lego minifig Space Kids. Never a fan of this guy. They did rockets, rocket launchers, a whole much better. It's called the Space Probe. After this and before this, but it came with this really cool robot, which I forgot came in also another set in a 6800 series, and I'll get that in a second. But no controls unless you fake that these things are controls on this set. The guy sits back here on this thing. This was always a cool part when they released it, but this thing was kind of like, it looked like it's not even a glorified parts pack. It's the 2x6 plate, 2 wheels. Like this thing as it is like really, they didn't even use the mud guards. Like really, like I would have done that minimum. Never liked this set. The Probe, semi cute. I mean, you know, it is what it is, and it works in there. Robot's nice. 6802 again, 5 years after the 6801. But then you get the 6803. Oh, sorry, this is 20 parts. So this is 21 parts, and this is 20 parts. So 6803 is going to go back to 1983, this guy, and it's the Flyer. Now, this guy is very, very, very reminiscent of, let me just pull it down, which I have somewhere over here. Why can't I see it right now? I reorganized my shelves last night. What the? Maybe I put it away. But the 2-part Flyer, and I don't see it right now, so I'm not gonna, I'm sure I put it back up. Oh, there's, where's, I thought it was going crazy. This thing is very reminiscent of this thing. it's very, but let's not even talk about that for now. So this thing, 23 parts. So again, the most parts so far. Big wing plates, using blue on top, which is unique, except for when you got to the bigger sets back in this early, the late 70s. You would kind of expect a slope part here, and you didn't get it. You got these things instead. Not much for landing gear. It just kind of sits on the ground like that. But, you know, for a small 6800 set, it's a Flyer. And you can't go wrong with Flyers. Flyers are cool. I do not have this set in the layout. It's not my favorite guy, but it's cool to have. 6803. And then we go over to 6804. The Surface Rover. I built 3 of these for the layout because they're so cute. Again, not much to them at all. This thing is 15 parts. So this is the lowest number of parts thus far. And I don't think we're going to get any lower than this. 15 parts, minifig with walkie-talkie. It's just cute and small. For 15 parts, you know, it is what it is. It does come with these nice 1x1 round with fins on it. You know, it is there. 1604. 1605, we're jumping back into 1986, so that's the same year that the rocket probe was released. This is the little brother to the Space Dart. And the Space Dart, I mean Benny's first spaceship, which I have somewhere again, and I should have been prepared for this, but I do not see it at this time. Oh, there it is. Which is one of my favorite sets ever. LM Lego Man. So this was the Lego Man set ship in the Lego Wars movies that Jake and Pete and I made. So this is the cheaper brother to this guy. But you got 5 of these little wing plates, and these things are really cool. And as I said, this one came with 4, this one came with 5. They both came with the blue space guy. 3 controls. So you got the 2 controls for the ship, and you got this guy for steering this thing. I guess I don't know, whatever. Astro Dasher. It doesn't look pretty. It really doesn't, because you got this, and then you got it up there. It's not a pretty looking set. It's not an ugly looking set, but it's not that pretty, so I don't bother usually having one of these around. And that came in at 26 parts, so that's the most number of parts thus far, if I remember correctly. I'm not even keeping track too much. And we leap into 6806, the year before this guy came out. So again, these are not sequentially numbered from year to year, which I found to be very, very odd, but whatever. The Surface Hopper. Now, when I saw this in the book, in the magazine, in the brochure, in the for that year, and I said, "Oh, I really want it," because it had a really cool shot, kind of like that, kind of looking up, and they usually don't do that in the space pictures in the brochure. But when I built it, it's like, meh. I'm picky when it comes to space sets. Like, there's no protection on this guy. This thing's supposed to, I guess, rocket hop around. Coming in at a questionable number of parts, according to Lugnet, and I haven't bothered, but it doesn't have too many parts. It comes with these wonderful trans yellow hoses and 2 trans red thrusters, 1x1 rounds with rocket fins, and 4 gray ones. And so this is a parts pack for me. So, and 2 trans green dishes, inverted. So not much to talk about. It's not going to be in the layout. It's so one of my original intents for the layout was to have one of every set represented from 1978 to 1980, whatever, 5, 6, whenever they discontinued Classic Space and went with Futron. But the layout's too small now, first of all. And second of all, there's not a lot of sets. I love most sets. I like all sets. I mean, I'm not saying this is ugly. I'm just saying it's not my favorite, and it doesn't go in the layout. So if the layout gets bigger again, maybe I will go put them all back in. But until then, it's fine. So now we get to 6807. And again, the reintroduction of the exact same robots. And the same. That's fine. This was a really, really cool set, because you never thought about just putting 2 of these thrusters side by side. You usually have 4, so it's stable. But this thing is perfectly stable. Well, I don't say perfectly stable. It rocks a little bit. But it's the first one that ever did that, and it's really, really cool. The controls are neat. They look like they work. The thrusters in the back are cool. You can say this is a parts pack, but not really. It's got... it's a nice looking set. I do have one of these in the layout, because I don't have a robot. I don't think I have his robot in the layout, but I have this guy in the layout. Like them. 23 parts, so kind of averaged above the 15, which is our lowest so far, and 26, which I think is our highest. But let's get over to Almost Futron. We'll call it Almost Futron. This came out in 1987, 6808, Galaxy Trekker, blue guy. The wings fold out like that. It is remarkably similar to this guy, which came out in Futron-ish. except the wings fold out. Not happy with the wings, but just, you're so used to the wings sloping back that when they slope inwards towards the back, it looks kind of chintzy. And when you go like that, it's not a good looking ship at all. Does come with the flexible black hoses and 2 trans red 2x2 inverted. Again, as Classic Space went on right before Futuron showed up, it was kind of okay. They're just kind of running the well dry, basically. Again, it's cool to have. I'm glad I built it. It comes in at a whopping 28 parts, so this is the most parts thus far, and we only have 1 left. So, but it's another flying ship, which is also cool to have, because right now we have that one, this one, and this one. You can't really call a hopper a flying ship. So 3 flying ships thus far. So let's get down to the last one so I can go to bed. 6809, this guy. Now, I saw this in a brochure years ago, and I said, I do not want this at all. But I built them today, and 34 parts, so this guy wins for the most number of parts, but basically they're all really teeny tiny parts. The robot is meh, kind of cutesy, kind of delicate, exterminate. This hopper, well, XT5 Android, I guess, is supposed to hover around. This is the first time I've seen where they actually put the walkie-talkie attached to the back like that instead of in his hand. The controls are useless. You can't reach them. So the controls are completely useless. And they put a control pad on top. I always like this 1x2 tile, but it's on top. So like this thing is, I think, again, they were running out of ideas, 1987. Again, I think right before Futuron, or even during the start, I can't remember when Futuron started, but not a great set by any stretch, but some cool parts. Now, the other thing I want to point out right now, before I call this video over. Let me see. Sorry about the noise. I should have been ready. There we go. The one thing that has to be noted is this piece did not come out until the early 80s. It was not there in the 70s. But as soon as they put this piece out, they used it everywhere. It's in this set in blue. It's in this set in gray. It's in this set in gray. It's in this set in gray. And it's in this set in gray. It's like half of the sets in this set in white. So over half the sets have this piece in it. It is ubiquitous. Not in the first couple years of Classic Space, but as the Classic Space went on, this piece is absolutely ubiquitous. It's even in Futuron. It's in this guy. It does a great job. I would think it's possibly the single most used real piece, not just like greebling or like the 1x1 trans green or red round or square. But I think this is one of the most ubiquitous pieces in Classic Space. It's a nice piece, and you can build a spaceship really quick just by dropping parts on this guy, just like this, just like you did here, and just like you did here, just like you did here. So can't complain about it all. But I was noticing that when I was building this thing, all 9 of these, that half of them had this piece in it. So overall, even the smallest sets in Lego are cool to have. I put a few in the layout because I really like them, but there are some that, like this guy, I mean, the concept was great, but I think the execution wasn't so good. There's this guy, which he can't even reach the controls. So what's the point? This guy is good, but if you have this guy, then this guy kind of looks chintzy. Right? Because this is a really, really cool set. This is the next step up, and I might do those at some point. I like this one for minimal parts, and yet it does what it needs to do. Drive it around. This is just a standard spaceship that was kind of a hybrid between the early sets and the later sets, but it does look good. The color scheme's nice. there's not a consistent way of building these things. Like this guy has the thrusters holding down this brick, that so you can put the antenna, or this plate with the 1x1 with the circle on it. This just has a 1x1 plate in there. They could have done the same thing, but I think then it would be really a huge knockoff of this guy. No, I like all classic space sets. I love some sets, but I like all classic space sets. So don't get me wrong, they're all good. Just I like some more than others. This guy is really cool as the concept, well executed. The controls work. The thrusters look great, and it nice. They got some rock in there. This guy, for their first one, for such a small set, you got 3 guns. 3 lasers, the black thrusters, the radar dish, console, and it's the parts are good for the original set, and it looks cool. And I don't think they ever did this with radar dishes for the rest of Classic Space, where they build them into instead of using them as a radar dish, because it's not being used as a radar dish. It's being used as a rocket sled. So can't complain about this one at all. I liked it a lot. I have some in my layout, at least one. Overall, there you go. Very happy that I got to do this. It was a joy to build these things tonight. And well, let me just turn that a little bit so you can see them all. And in the end, you can see why Lego back then, and I liked how they did it. The 6800, so 6801, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all basically the same number of pieces. Some are 15, so maximum was 34. So, you know, but they're small, and you can go to there with a couple bucks in your hand in the store and buy them with your allowance and or grass cutting money. And you can build up a fleet pretty quickly. A small fleet, a small set of ships, a small set of vehicles, a small set of whatever, and get minifigs. I'm not ever going to probably do a video on the minifig parts packs, because I never actually bought one in my life. I have all the minifigs I need, and I never bothered with the minifig parts pack. I just got minifigs when I bought sets. So anyway, 17 minutes. I'm going to keep this one nice and short, or shorter than some of my other ones. I might bring all of these to my next layout, because I've got them built now. I know some are already in the layout. I know this guy's already in the layout. I know this guy's already in the layout. And this guy was in the layout at one point. But, and I know this guy's in the layout. So that's it. That's all. I hope everybody's doing well. I want everybody to take care, stay safe, be kind to your neighbors. And if you have any questions or any ideas for videos, drop me a line. I've done the 6800 to 6809, or 6801 to 6809. I might do 6810 to 6819 at some point, but that's going to take me longer to build. This thing took me a couple hours. So I'm going to talk to everybody soon, and take care and stay safe.